Just broke up with my cheating partner, now I'm talking to a guy who's cheating on his wife. To give context, I just found out my partner of 7 years has been cheating on me. We broke up a couple of weeks ago and I'm very confused about how I feel. He prioritized other guys over me so many times in the relationship, and I just gave him benefit of the doubt, so the cheating was like the sad last straw. Without going into detail, I've experienced a somewhat traumatic sexual experience in the relationship, among other things, that have left me feeling worthless and completely undesirable. I'm sad, hurt, angry, confused and relieved, all at once. Recently, I hopped back on Grindr to get back out there after feeling sexually unfulfilled for years. I'm very discreet on the app and don't meet with people because I'm still working on building trust and comfort around sex. I started talking to this one guy. He's super attractive, sweet, sensitive, and just makes me feel worthwhile. But he's also very upfront about the fact that he's straight and being unfaithful to his wife. Prior to being cheated on, I was always morally ambivalent about the home wrecker in a cheating scenario. To be clear, I've never cheated nor been cheated with. My thought was always that the unfaithful partner was fully responsible for the betrayal and hurt that is caused by cheating, and that unless the person they cheat with knows the person being cheated on them, they shouldn't feel responsible. I know this isn't the most virtuous stance, but in my mind the cheater would cheat regardless of who it's with. Anyway, all that aside, I've clearly revised my stance on this because I feel morally unsure of whether to keep speaking to this guy. On one hand, I can't help but feel like I'm the guy my ex cheated on me with, and on the other hand I have this compulsion to just be selfish. I spent so much time and energy prioritizing the needs of my ex to the detriment of my own wants and needs, that I just want to pursue this because it makes me feel good. I know this isn't going to become anything more than just sex with this guy, and I'm not trying to catch feelings and get romantically carried away. And I know this is probably just poor coping on my part. But he just makes me feel respected and desired and special. And I don't want to give that up. We haven't met or anything, just messaged, but he really wants to meet. I don't want to contribute to the hurt in this marriage, but from what he says it sounds like his wife is also being dishonest with him. I know none of this makes it any better. I guess I'm just asking for advice because I have no one to talk to about all this. I just don't want to end up regretting this. If you've read all this, then thank you. Comment. A guy tells you, I'm going to murder my spouse. You say, well, hey, I'm not married to them, so I can keep my mouth shut? No big deal. Guy murders his spouse. And you don't feel any responsibility? Never mind the legal side, morally you don't feel like you owe the other person anything because you're not married to them? I sure hope not. Now replace murder with any other awful thing. For example, bringing home an STD. Not only should you not deliberately fuck a cheater, you are absolutely morally obligated to assist their spouse in discovering what's happening. It's just up to you to decide if morals matter to you at all. You got cheated on, and now want to enable another cheater. You got fucked by team cheater, and now you're assisting team cheater in another win. They're gonna cheat regardless, so why does it matter? POV of a jaded person who has allowed a shitty experience to redefine their own morals, broken their integrity, and pass on their pain to someone else. They're gonna cheat regardless, but it isn't gonna be with me. POV of someone who didn't let a POS change who they are, someone who would not wish nor enable that sort of pain on another human being, and someone who grows into something better. Once you're tainted with that color, there is no washing it off. Bear that in mind and consider the sort of person you hope to meet in the future, and whether or not you deserve them. Don't be a piece of crap. That is all the advice you need. Everything else is just an overly wordy attempt at justification of some sort. If you want to potentially build a relationship, then by default stop. You know he is a cheater, so don't get involved. If you want casual intimacy and don't care about it hurting his partner, do that. As you said, cheaters will cheat regardless. I wouldn't respect you for getting involved, but it's also not really your issue to deal with, so meh. If you just want friendship, I would say look at your own moral compass, and if you think a cheater could be a friend you could trust. If you feel bad for his GF, tell her. But since you just left a relationship where you got cheated on, I would recommend don't interact with no cheaters, because don't forget, you barely know him. He could be lying through his teeth, and any positive feelings you feel could just be from lust or infatuation. And although those might be triggers that lead to potential relationships, they aren't what they will be built on. Whether romantic, physical, or friendship, it's built on trust and character. I don't think this guy, according to your description, fits the criteria to be worth your time. I was the wife in a similar scenario. I do not believe my ex told an ounce of truth about me to the guys he was texting/sexting/ or hooking up with. She's a beard and doesn't know it, and her physical, mental, and emotional health is being risked by this guy. Validation from liars and cheaters feels great. I'm sure he's being 100% honest with you, just like he's being 100% honest with his wife. We don't always get to have what we want. We ought to find the maturity to deny ourselves of what we think we want. I understand all the feelings you must be having right now in terms of feeling special/needed and so on. But they'll be short-lived. You don't just owe it to his partner to not get into this, you owe it to yourself. Be the bigger person here. You'll become a much stronger person for it in the long run. Next story 2. My husband cheated on me with his secretary. So my husband and I have been married for 5 years. Last week, he went on a business trip along with his secretary. Yesterday, I woke up in the middle of the night because I was feeling a little bit thirsty. Then I saw my husband, with his shirt untidy, his hair messy, and kiss marks all over his neck and even on the collar of his shirt. When he saw that I was awake, he immediately started saying all sorts of excuses. Saying it was just a mistake, that she means nothing, etc. I asked him why he did this and who he did it with. Then he said that he did it with his secretary, but it was all completely physical, and that he didn't feel any love towards her. He said this as if it would justify his actions. Then I repeated my question, asking why he did it, and he simply said that he couldn't resist her and that his lust got the better of him. He kept on saying he loved me, she didn't matter to him, it was all just physical, and kept begging me not to leave him. He said that it would be too embarrassing for him to tell his family and friends that he's getting divorced. I was baffled by this, on how he still only thought of himself. He told me that this will never happen again, and that he will stay loyal. Yet, I knew that if I hadn't caught him, he'd still have intimacy with his secretary. I just got up at that point, and packed my bags, and asked my best friend to pick me up. My husband kept trying to stop me, but I kept resisting. Eventually, my best friend arrived and I am currently staying at her home. I am thinking of divorcing my husband, but my mother and some relatives are saying I'm being too rash on this decision. What should I do about this? Am I really being too rash? Comment. Let me ask, did he at any point say he was sorry? Or did he instantly go to it was a mistake? She means nothing. My lust got the better of me. If it's the latter, then divorce his ass. He doesn't believe that what he did was wrong morally, he just thinks it's bad because of the consequences. A sane person apologizes for mistakes, a narcissist makes excuses. Although it's not even a mistake, it's a full-blown decision, so definitely talk to him, just for peace of mind, but go through the process of getting a lawyer. Don't listen to your relatives, it's not their marriage, so respectively, it's your decision. Don't listen to anyone else. Divorce him. The first thing he said is it would be embarrassing for him if he got divorced, not sorry I fucked someone else. But basically, don't leave, except I fucked her and that's that. Speak to a lawyer and tell anyone that has a problem with it that if they don't support you, you will remove them from your life. I'm sorry you were another victim of a scumbag. I wouldn't believe anything he says. Sorry and the person didn't mean anything is the go-to statement of cheaters. No one deserves to be betrayed, especially by a so-called loved one. I know it's hard, I lived through it as well, but you need to do the right thing, which it appears you are. We can't let them get away with this crap. My ex is living proof of what you get when you cheat. She's full of regret. Unfortunately, the regret is getting caught. I wish you all the luck in the world and hope it all works out for you. FYI, the hurt subsided once I was free of the lies and deceit. Don't get me wrong, I still think about her from time to time, but it's not hateful thoughts anymore. As a person who has been in your shoes, let me tell you that's the most common thing cheaters say. It was mistake, I was lonely, you work too much, and the usual rhetoric they all say. It's like they use the same script. Cheating is a choice, not a mistake. The kicker here is they only apologize when they're caught. Then use the same lines all of them do. Then if you stay, you gotta watch their moves. That's no way to live like a warden. Cheating in any form is an act treason against the relationship, and I'm automatically done, period. Don't listen to your family. He's obviously been doing this for a while. And if you hadn't woken up, you'd never know. He sees her every day at work, goes on trips with her. Who knows what happens all day when they're alone. Make sure everyone knows so that you have support and get checked for steez. He only said getting divorced would be embarrassing. He didn't apologize. And I'm assuming he hasn't sacked her and she still works with him. His secretary? You can't get more cliché than that, can you? This is a reconciliation sub. If I'm not mistaken, we can't say anything against reconciliation. So in a nutshell. Remorseful, not really. Only cares for himself, yes. Had an affair. Not a one-time mistake and would have continued had he not been dumb enough to come home in that state. Still works with his secretary, yes. Will he leave his job? He would want to tell his family and friends, own up to his mistakes. That's what real remorse is. He's selfish. Will he do it again? Probably. So, ask yourself these questions. Do you have any children? If not, makes things much easier. Good luck.